Watch how fast this bike can go. This is crazy. Watch the speedometer. 46, 47, 48, 49.
So we get a bunch of tools in here. Nice. Tire repair kit, multi-tool, tire pump, and a little wrench. A couple more tools in the box. Here's our 5 amp charger. There it is. 5 amp passively cooled charger. This charger does feel heavy, almost like it's potted. That means it's gonna have great heat dissipation. And it looks like this charger does have 2 ends, so you can charge both batteries when they're off the bike together. Let's see, we got a manual for the rear shock, a little manual for the front fork, bungee for the rear rack, got the pedals. These are the mounts for the front fender, electric air pump. Wow, they just give you everything. Derailleur guard. And you also get a little wrench for self-defense. I mean, a wrench for really cranking down the nuts for the wheel axles. That way they are nice and tight. Then you get, of course, all the keys you need. 2 for the rear battery, 2 for the front. And a manual for the display. The box is super heavy. It does come covered with these straps, these plastic straps. And these straps are taped over so they don't get pulled off. All right, let's see what we got. Front fender. And we got some, I think these are the mounts for the front fender. Oh, look at that. The helmet is keeping the headlight safe and sound. That's adorable. Nice. All right, guys, let's dig in. Look at all this. In the box, the tires are deflated, and that actually allows for Ecells to use a smaller box and pack this bike a little bit tighter so there's less movement. So you'll have to put some air in the tires. Just make sure the beads on the tires are seated properly. There it is. All right, there's our handlebar. Check this out, guys. This granny gear is so big you can't even see the motor. Holy. No, officer, this isn't even an electric bike. Can't you tell there's no motor? This isn't going to be an assembly video. If you do want to check out how to put this bike together, I will leave a link in the description below where Gator from Ecells has a great video on putting this bike together. Feel free to check that out. But for now, we're going to use my usual trick on bike assembly. I do this for all my e-bike reviews. Ready? And there it is. Hey guys, before we jump into the test footage of this bike, I want to give a huge shout out to the Ecells community. Some of you guys actually personally reached out to David, the CEO of Ecells, and asked him to send me one of these bikes. So huge shout out and thank you to you guys. You know who you are. I don't want to name names because this is a public YouTube video after all. And huge shout out to Ecells. David over at Ecells, thank you for sending this bike over. We're gonna be making a lot of content with this Monstar of an e-bike. And with that being said, let's jump right into the test ride footage.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome. Today we are on a highly anticipated e-bike from Ecells, the Monstar, the dual motor, almost 5-inch wide tired, 80 amp, 60 volt e-bike that at peak charge pushes 5 kilowatts. So over 5,000 watts of power being pushed from this bike. And these motors are extra special because they're designed to have a higher RPM than normal motors that are on most other e-bikes, which means that this bike is capable of speeds of near or over 50 miles an hour. And by the way, if you guys do want to check out this bike, I will leave it listed in the description below. Using coupon code MAX100, you could save yourself $100 on this bike. And using that link will help support the channel at no extra cost to you. Thank you guys that are using my links. This bike was announced sometime last year that it was in development. And ever since then, a bunch of people have tried it out. I know that the electrified Latina went down to Ecells, the Ecells HQ last year. She tried it out. She hit 50 miles an hour. I know that David himself, he tried it out when the production model came out. He hit just under 50 miles an hour. And Gator from Ecells actually hit, I think, like 53 miles an hour. Tail Happy, you guys can check out his review. He just released it the other day. He hit just under 50 miles an hour. And so the first thing that we're gonna do today, during today's initial impressions video, so this isn't a review, this is just going to be an initial impressions ride. I literally just got the bike yesterday. I put it together, charged it up, and here we are today to try it out. This is my very first ride. As you can tell, I am taking it easy. I am not using up power because I want to save as much possible juice for the top speed tests. I want to see what I can do for top speed. So we have our GPS out. And as you guys know, batteries don't like cold weather. However, I have good news. It is slowly but surely defrosting in New England. It is warming up. Today we have a sunny 42 or 43 degree weather day. So it is on the warmer side for where it's usually been. I have my heated gloves on, but I don't have them turned on right now. And I don't even know if I will need them for today's ride. But the very first thing I want to do is head down and do the top speed test because I know that's what you guys want to see also. I think I adjusted the settings to make this go as fast as possible as well. The C5 setting is set all the way to 10, and I adjusted a couple other settings so I can see the motor temperature as well. So we'll see, guys. We'll see how it goes. What we'll do is try and pedal up to speed and then see where the bike tops off. Although I don't think I will even need to pedal because of how much power this bike has. I think the amount of power this bike pushes is way above what my legs can generate anyway. So when you are full throttling this bike, pedaling probably won't do a whole lot. See these big piles of dirty snow that I have to drive around? That will not be here soon. It's supposed to be a nice warm week, so you guys are gonna see a whole lot more from this e-bike and a bunch of other e-bikes as it warms up. So I'm headed over to the top speed testing site, and I love the gears that are on this bike. There's 11 speeds on this bike and a huge granny gear in the back. I'm on pedal assist 1 right now, rear motor, and this bike pedals so easily. I know a lot of you guys buy this bike to have the fastest bike, right? You want that power. But what's cool about this one, and I love bikes like this, is that it still looks like a bicycle, for the most part, and it has pedals. So not only can you take a bike like this anywhere really on rail trails and just go nice and slow like this, being respectful, you can also take it on the roads and go 50 miles an hour. And on top of that, with this bike you'll get a ton of range because it has 2 batteries. Typically a lot of the dual battery Ecells bikes that I've been reviewing have a 20 amp hour frame battery and a rear 15 amp hour battery. However, this one has a 25 amp hour battery. So that's 40 amp hours of battery. Now that's already a lot, but considering it's 60 volts, to really get the true capacity of a battery, you multiply volts times amp hours. So that's 2,400 watt hours. That is more battery than some e-motos that are out there who don't have pedals at all. So range is gonna be great with this bike. And you can charge those 2 batteries with a single port on the actual frame. There's a spot where you can just insert 1 plug and charge both batteries at the same time. I've only seen Ecells bikes with that feature. Look at this, stopping at the stop sign. Wow, incredible. All right, guys, we're at the test site location. I just enabled both motors. Pedal assist 5. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous. This is a beast of an e-bike. Let's see how it goes. Put our visor down to get as aerodynamic as possible. I'll try not to yell into the helmet. Here we go. See, that front wheel is No joke. Holy crap. All right, we are off. Tuck down. Yeah, I'm not pedaling at all. You don't need to pedal with this bike. 40. We're already at 40. Oh my goodness. 45. 45 miles an hour going one way. We're holding 45. And look at that. The speedometer was pretty accurate. All right, so 45 miles an hour going one way. Let's go the other way. There we go. You really got to take it easy with the throttle. With the C5 setting at 10, that front wheel will just lose it. All right, tuck down. Hear those motors singing. 45, 46, 47. All right, so we touched 47. Hopefully that showed up on the camera. And just so you guys can see my settings, those are all of my settings. Hopefully everything is pretty good in there. Right now I set it to just show one battery bar, just because I don't really want to see two. I might change that later in the future, but I just need to see the voltage of both batteries combined. So we topped out. Oh my God, I gotta turn this bike down. So we topped out at 47 miles an hour. We went 45 one way. So average speed between those two runs, 46 miles an hour in 40-degree weather. Tire pressure is 30 PSI, and I am 200 pounds. I don't have my backpack on. A lot of my bikes in the cold weather, at least 3 miles an hour slower, so I am pretty excited to see what this bike can do when it does warm up. Pretty sure we're gonna be hitting 50 miles an hour. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the bike. I wanna give my initial impressions on this monster of an e-bike. All right, so the first thing I'll say is go into the settings and turn down the C5 setting. If you don't need the front wheel constantly spinning out, turn that setting down. So I bring the setting all the way down to like 0. I don't need a lot of acceleration, and trust me guys, I'll show you that with dual motors, with that setting at 0, you'll still be just fine. So here we go. Here's pedal assist 5 dual motors. If we gun it, plenty of acceleration and no wheel spin. But you see that? If I didn't set it to 0, the front wheel would spin, and it would be slightly dangerous going around that corner. So you'll still get that full top speed, but the front wheel will be very manageable. That being said, the second thing I want to say is this is definitely not a beginner's e-bike. A lot of e-bikers get into this hobby and they haven't ridden a bicycle in general in years. This might not be the best choice. It's possible to buy this if you tame it down. Like right now, it's pretty tame. But there are some instances where a front wheel drive bike can get a little bit squirrely. So if this is your first bike, make sure you change the settings so you guys can stay safe. Look at this, so we're with traffic right now, and even with the C5 set to 0, plenty of power, plenty of acceleration, nice and comfortable. So you can tame this bike down to be very manageable. It is windy. Gotta close that visor. I hear that front motor roaring. Wow, we're almost at 40 miles an hour, maintaining 40 miles an hour going up that hill. Wow, this is incredible. Look at this. Watch how fast this bike can go. This is crazy. Watch the speedometer. Look at this. So we're tucked down, and the speedometer is accurate. 48, 49. Wow. Look at this. This is insane. All right, here we go. Slight downhill part. 49.6 miles an hour on the speedometer. And I did double check to see if the speedometer is accurate. It is. That is wild. Wow. So see that? So I was just on the roads, and we could tame it to pedal assist 1, have it be nice and tame. On second thought, maybe this would be okay as a first bike. You can make this be whatever you want. You can turn it into a bullet and go 50 miles an hour like some of the other reviewers have done in warmer weather. Or you can make it nice and slow like this. And it has so many gears, like right now I'm pedaling up a hill. And my cadence is great for hill climbing. Super low gear, so you're not going to be straining the motors or your legs. You could just chill on this bike if you want. This thing is awesome. I'm going to be riding this bike everywhere. So here we go. Nice and slow. Going under 10 miles an hour. Look at my cadence. Look at this. Barely using any power. I'm using 400 watts to go up this hill. The motors aren't stressing. I'm not stressing. The battery isn't stressing. Very nice. But if I want, I can do this. We can just haul ass. There's some other initial impressions I have on this bike. I like that this bike has the locking grips. Very much appreciated. A brand new shifting system from Shimano. I think it's called the Shimano Cube or something like that. Feels great shifting. Tons of gears again. love that this bike has a bunch of gears, so it's great as a bicycle as well. If this is going to be your first bike, just know that it is a large bike. It is heavy. I think it's over 125 pounds because there is a lot on this bike. 2 giant motors, 2 controllers, 2 giant batteries, huge beefy frame. There's a lot on this bike. And the size of this bike is also kind of insane. It is massive. So it's something to keep in mind if you are going to buy this bike. So right now I switched it to rear motor and I'm just hanging out. I just made a reaction video to Russ's Right video where he just sits and talks while he has footage of him riding around from warmer times in the season. So he just does kind of like a green screen thing. Wow, that lady gave me a thumbs up. Nice. And I feel like him right now. I'm just kind of putting around under 20 miles an hour. And nobody knows that this thing is a Monstar. It's a monster. Nobody knows that you can open it up and go 50 miles an hour on this bike, throttle only. These tires are on the louder side. They are gigantic tires, almost 5-inch wide tires. So you will hear them and people will hear you riding on the trail. Maybe I do need to buy heated gloves. So we're at rear motor only. Pedal assist 1, C5 is at 0. Watch how slow of a start this is. This is throttle only. Very tame. Very tame. So this bike is interesting. You can grow into the power if you want. If you're looking at this bike and you're thinking, man, I don't know if I can handle all that power, you can easily tame it. But watch this. We're on dual motors now. We're gonna go up this hill, throttle only, full power. Look at this, easily climbing this hill. Wow. There are very few e-bikes out there, besides electric motorcycles, that can do that fast. And then once you're done with your hill climb, you switch it back to rear motor only, and you can pedal right along. Pedal assist 1. And by the way, if you guys do want to check out this bike, I will leave it listed in the description below. Using coupon code MAX100, you could save yourself $100 on this bike. And using that link will help support the channel at no extra cost to you. Thank you guys that are using my links. I do really appreciate it. It really helps the channel keep going and allows me to invest more time into making these videos for you guys. So this bike is not cheap. I think even with my code, it's around $3,500. So I'm not gonna call this a cheap bike. However, because of everything that you get from a value proposition, this bike is still a great value. Let's do the math right now. So you get 2,400 watt hours of Samsung 50S battery. That alone is worth a lot. You get 2 geared hub motors engineered by the guys over at Hentac, and these are special motors. These are motors that turn faster based on the voltage that's given to them, which is the reason why this thing can go so fast. You get an insanely strong frame. You get a huge dual crown front fork, tons of travel, great rear suspension. You get a giant front headlight, turn signals, a loud horn, a display where you can adjust your power on the e-bike. There are very few e-bikes out there where you can do that. Ecells is known for making insanely durable frames. They've been in the dual motor e-bike business for a while, so I've never seen anything ever go wrong with one of these frames. You get a great new Shimano shifting system. Oh, and most importantly, I don't know any other bike that you can buy in this price range. Not something that looks like an e-moto or is an e-moto, a bicycle with pedals, with bicycle geometry that goes 50 miles an hour. There's nothing out there. This is it. This is the only one. Leave a comment below what you guys think about this Ecells Monstar. Is this something you would buy? And if so, don't forget, using the link in the description below and my code, you guys can save $100 off this bike. And again, I do want to remind you that this is not a review. It is just an initial impressions ride. I am going to be making lots of videos with this bike. And as it warms up, something tells me that this bike is going to get closer and closer and closer to that 50 mile an hour mark. So that's it for today, folks. Until next time.